and see. Subscribe on YouTube.
So, is there giveaway bottles? What's going on?
What's that?
The giveaway or something?
Yeah, that's a giveaway.
Both of them?
No, we're gonna drink that one.
Show me this one too.
I'm just gonna talk about that one. Our giveaway.
Gotcha.
Hey
Hey
everybody!
Welcome to another episode of Trenny and C. I'm Trenny. This is C. Let's do this thing today.
Yeah, today we have a bourbon that we've never had before, which is kind of rare around these parts because most of the bourbon that's in general population we've had, and this one we have not, which is the Basil Hayden. Basil.
I go with Basil.
Basil Hayden, 10-year-old. And before we get into that, let's get into this.
Oh, excitement.
This month's Dram Club sponsorship is Ray Daniel and Beam Suntory. And they gave us this bottle of Jim Beam Old Tub, which is bottled in bond, unfiltered,
So good.
really good stuff, 50% alcohol. But we're going to give it to you. This is our giveaway bottle.
And I mean, we on top of that, it's a great price.
Yeah, it's actually a fantastic price just to buy it, but it's really good bourbon.
Especially when it's free for you guys.
Yeah, the price is right. Just go to patreon.com/TrennyandC and make sure you sign up. Anyway, so we are going to
Get into this one. So we have done the Basil Hayden before.
The
regular version. I love the little kind of kinky waistband that it has.
It's a
there.
belt.
It's got a bit of a belt there.
That should be a giveaway. They should have belts.
See, it's
Merch.
raised metal.
It's like copper.
Copper. It's 10 years old, which is honestly in the bourbon world a very a rarity, really.
Yeah, that's good.
So 10 years old.
Pretty solid age statement.
I'm gonna let you deal it.
Sure. Because you don't know where.
I don't even know where to start with that. It's got kind of a
silver
aluminum foil kind of thing going on there.
old
You got the nails, so it's good.
Thumbnail. I think I've depapered it.
Well, because there's recently where I did something similar and thought it was a cork, but it ended up being a twist top. So
that was a 30-second review of
pure garbage.
It was Maker's Mark.
It was Maker's Mark. Yeah.
Here we go. Oh gosh. That's tight.
Is it twist up?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Dirty
That's
pop.
cool. So this is bottled at 40%.
So it should be very drinkable.
Very drinkable,
especially
for sure.
at
But
10 years.
10 years, it's got some things going on for it, for sure. I like the new packaging on it. It looks really, I like the darker kind of paper stuff there.
It's kind of like Lot 40 Dark Oak.
I was thinking that. It's like
black with
the
copper.
black and gold, yeah.
Crafted using the high rye bourbon recipe that
Nice.
makes Basil Hayden's bourbon so unique. This special release is aged 10 years, adding complexity and deeper flavor to an already intriguing spirit. And on the back it says, aged for 10 years in the foothills of Kentucky, this golden amber bourbon offers a rare take on the Basil Hayden's bourbon you love, featuring big oak aromas with hints of char, vanilla, and rye. The wood flavors are complemented by a perfect balance of caramel sweetness and rye spice.
Wow.
Bottled as smooth, 80 proof, and finished in lightly smoky with a subtle hint of char, a memorable final note for an exceptional spirit.
Wow.
There you go.
That's the people that get paid to write the
copywriters?
descriptions. That's kind of that's not a bad job, really.
No, it's good. It's good.
Especially when it's whiskey. Really
But
good.
we will decide.
Okay, here we go.
Ultimately, you will decide.
Color is natural in the bourbon world, so that is a nice kind of golden amber sort of thing.
Like a
Little
medium
darker.
amber kind of.
Okay, here we go.
But I also find things that have a black label, that black label helps to give it a little bit more
It psychologically tricks you
it
into
looks
thinking
darker
that it's
than
be
it
darker.
is.
Yeah,
That being
that's
said,
true.
it's still pretty
because
dark.
a lot of people when they buy a whiskey, they assume color is, it's just psychologically they go for something darker than lighter.
And you know what? On this one, you do get the rye, green apple kind of thing going on there.
Yeah, I would say just personally on the nose, it's not an over sweet bourbon.
No,
It's quite
But it does have a nice kind of caramel sweetness to it.
The green apple's right on the head there for sure.
Right? Like you can tell it's got like a nice rye element to it.
I'm not sensing a huge char on the nose yet, but the palate usually shows that.
Little bit of like almost what's that called? What's that almondy paste stuff they use in baking or whatever called?
Oh, yeah, marzipan.
Marzipan. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I mean it's got some nice spices to it. It's
Like-
not overly sweet. It's got the green apple as you mentioned. There is a bit of a oaky kind of sour,
There is a
nose to
slight
it,
sourness.
but-
Yeah, you're right.
but it being 40%, sometimes it is harder to really dig your nose into
I
it.
actually really like this nose.
It might for me I'm just struggling a little bit to get more notes than that, but there's a little bit of that brown sugar classic kind of bourbon style.
Yeah, it's like there's something. I don't know. There's something kind of like puddingy about it. Anyway, let's get into the
Get to
taste.
the flavor
Here we go.
flav. Here we go.
Let's go.
I mean, that is a soft upfront arrival.
Okay. The first thing when I taste it,
Yeah.
it reminds me of Booker's at a lower proof.
Mm.
Like it gave me that, like the big,
kind of walnutty.
bold, rich walnutty,
Yeah.
but like it's like a proof down Booker's a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if you like the flavor of Booker's but it's too hot, to me this is like
It's
You know what I
it's
mean? Like-
got a good flavor for sure. It's not the sometimes you get caramels and toffees and things like that. It's not so much that. It's more like woody and nutty and like not even like the cherries. But
no. I was gonna say it's like cherry walnut.
Cherry
like to me,
walnut,
it's a little bit of that cherry chocolate kind of thing.
for sure.
You know, because maybe it's
Yeah.
a little bit. I don't know. Like to me, like the cherry kind of comes.
You're right.
through.
Do you know what it reminds me of actually is Red Arrow
Right.
used to every Christmas come out with a cherry porter.
Yes.
And it kind of reminds me of that like darker notes on there. Like it is a little bit
It's
I don't know if-
rich.
it's rich. I don't want to say malty, but it kind of has that kind of maybe that's the char coming up on the flavor. Like the it's burnt-ish.
Especially when I do the kind of like after. Like this is gonna be one of those ones that like when the glass is empty, if you sniff
Oh, yeah.
the glass,
Yeah, you'll love it.
like big
But
charry
it being
kind of.
40%, there is a lot of bold flavors going on, which is really nice. Like sometimes you can drink any kind of whiskey at 40%. And you go, okay, well it's enough, but I'm gonna just crush it with Coca-Cola or whatever. This you could do that. You could drink whiskey any way you want.
This would probably taste great with Coca-Cola.
Probably would, but it holds its own on as like just a sipper.
Well, I stand by the fact that like if anybody's tasted Booker's and thought like I like the flavor profile but it's too hot,
Yeah. Well,
this would be like your calmer
yeah.
version of like a crushable version of Booker's.
And one thing we haven't talked about is the fact that the age is on the palate.
Yeah.
Like 10 years old, that's a relatively high age statement for a bourbon these days.
But I think like Booker's is usually
It's like
7
6
or 8.
seven. Yeah, right.
7
So
or 8.
exactly. So that's probably
Yeah.
where those profiles match a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's really good. It's definitely different. Like you don't. It's beam through and through
Yeah.
because of the walnut. Like it's beam walnut, but it's got a richness to it and a boldness that I think is unique.
And it's wearing a belt.
And it has a belt.
So you got that.
I'd buy a Basil Hayden's belt, or I'd wear one anyway.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget, we've got this old tub giveaway later this month, so make sure to click like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we will see you again very shortly.
Cheers.
Cheers.